Hello, playful eco-warriors, and welcome to another episode of Climate for Fun, the podcast that turns climate change into a laughing matter. Here's Antonio Salituro, climate scientist, writer, and comedian, and I'm thrilled to have Marco Moretti with me today. Marco is a stand-up comedian who's trying to make people laugh about climate change. Welcome, Marco, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Antonio. You use the right word. Like I'm trying to make people laugh, like which is I believe it's the base of every stand-up comedian. You never know if you're gonna make it.
I mean, yeah, honestly, he's already very tricky to make people laugh, especially, let alone about climate change. It's just crazy. But, we try. We
Yeah,
try.
yeah, yeah.
So ready
But
to
that's why
take the
it's
piss
fun.
out
I,
of
I
our
found
woman?
it. Yeah, I found it super challenging. That's why I started.
Yeah, well, it's good to challenge yourself, isn't it? So we try.
Mhm.
We try to save the world in our little way, original
In a
way.
way, exactly.
Okay, cool. Let's crack on then. All right. I'm gonna go through a few questions. So, Marco, as far as I
Hmm.
know, you launched the first stand-up comedy event themed on climate change in Italy. Is it because you like black humor or what?
I do like black humor a lot. Like I would be doing mostly black humor if I could. But
Okay.
since I found that like talking about manslaughter and everything else with black humor was a little bit too easy, I was like, okay,
Right.
talking about killing one person is fun, but what about talking about killing the entire human race? That's gonna be super fun. So that was why I started. And yeah, it also was a challenge to me to try to find a way to make people laugh about something that I find so oppressive, at least in my life. Like I think about
Yeah.
lots of climate change, and I was like, I really need to find a laughing angle for this thing.
Yeah, I mean, anxiety is always behind the corner, isn't it? So we need to break the vicious feeling, so inside
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
We,
And
yeah, I
a
haven't
lot of
watched
people
it, but
are scared. A lot of
yeah.
people are scared. Like I started this because I felt pretty scared. Like I remember having been very obsessed about climate change, and I was like, I need to be able to deal with this, but I need to be able to deal with this in a fun way. I need to look at all the ridiculous part of climate change and put them on a table to say, hey, yeah, we're about to die, but let's not die in a sad way. At least let's die in a fun
Yeah.
way. That's
Let's
that's the
die with
entire point.
style, yeah, true,
Exactly.
with a laugh. Let's die with a laugh. But it's funny because many people don't even realize they are anxious about climate change. Sometimes you talk with someone, actually, you find you make them realize that actually I do have climate anxiety, but I just didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I found in myself, but then I realized it's something that I believe it's affecting a lot of people because whenever I go on stage
Yeah.
and say I wrote this beat because I have climate anxiety,
Yeah.
then I see a lot of people in the audience going like, ah, you too, which is kind of weird because I feel we are a little, many people are a bit. I can say shy of admitting that this
Yeah.
is affecting them. But the moment you do, it's a lot of weight off your back because there
Yeah.
are many people in the same situation.
Yeah, burden, relieving a burden. Yeah, true, true, true.
Exactly.
Okay, so coming back to the name of your event, it is called
Hmm.
Hot Laughs, right? Did you get inspired by your
Hmm.
sex life or anything? Like, what gave you the inspiration?
No, if it was inspired by my sex, I should have been short laughs, I guess, or no laughs at all. Like,
Okay, I
I
didn't
don't.
want to say it
Uh,
myself, so all right.
No, it's like or somebody else is laughing, but certainly not me. But no, it came out because I did another event in Denmark. I started doing this not as an organizer, but just as a comedian when I used to
Yeah,
work in Denmark. And
yeah.
I participated on a show organized by the amazing Clara Vanderwant. If she's watching this, I want to thank her to inspire me into doing this,
Nice.
which was called "Climate Change is Not Fun."
Yeah,
But it was a little bit too verbose and a little bit too literal. So I was like,
yeah,
I want something a little bit snappier, and we came up with
yeah.
hot laughs.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's better than no laughs. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Way, definitively way better. Even
Yeah.
though the first time I tried, I mean, I felt like no laughs was gotten at all. Like the first time I did climate
Yeah,
change comedy in Italy, wow.
it's tricky. I'm experiencing this myself. I'm with you on that. I mean, you need to warm them up, to make a joke. Let's say, you know.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it's a very dark joke, but anyway.
Well,
Okay.
the first time I did it in Italy was a bit. I completely fucked up the choice
Yeah.
because I came back. It was 2002, so COVID was just over a little bit,
Ooh,
and I went
okay.
on stage in front of a group of people who were like 50, 60 something, and I was
Ooh.
like, "Yeah, COVID is over, but you're still gonna die," and nobody liked that joke at all.
Well, at least nobody threw at you like anything
No,
or.
I was like, oh, and now I'm thinking back, like, why the hell did I say that? I should have just said something else.
Well, that was risky, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, your event, which is very interesting. So you raised some funds, right? So which were donated to an organization called Survival International. But I don't agree with this idea. I don't think it was a good thing. Because next time, how about giving money to an organization called Murder International? No, seriously, we are too many on this planet, mate. Are we?
I know, I know. In fact, it was funny because uh, the organization didn't know about the content of the show, and my entire bit is exactly about, okay, we have to accept that our point in life is to get extinct. So let's just try to get extinct in the funniest way possible.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
could feel that there was a little bit of, I would say, toughness in the subject from the recipient end. Like, they were
yeah.
like, okay, like we are trying to save the planet, mate, not to kill everybody. It was like, okay, it's a comedy show, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but it's a very nice organization because they don't fight the same kind of cause that everybody is fighting. They are
Yeah.
really trying to preserve indigenous life and
Okay.
make sure that they don't get destroyed and affected by the first world activities. Because
Right.
if you also go, and I would say to everybody who's listening, it's very interesting. If you go and check on their website, there is a lot of activities done by modern societies that are it's basically colonization in disguise. That is not
Right.
just creating climate change because it's destroying the environment, but it's
Well,
also basically colonizing these people, making them live in a way that they would not do otherwise just
yeah.
for the sake of making money, which is a very interesting point of view on the subject.
I mean, indirectly, they are causing climate change because indigenous people are always the best at keeping, you know, taking care of the soil, the forest, etc. So, in a way, there is an indirect effect. But I don't, I doubt you're gonna be funded by Trump's or, or the likes, I guess. Yeah, or
No,
Elon Musk.
there are very little organizations in, in Italy that want
Yeah.
to support this. No, Elon
Probably
Musk is
no.
definitely not one of my guys.
No, no, no. By the way, now that we mention it, in one of your sketch, you made a very funny joke about Elon Musk. You said that he's profiting from electric car to save the planet while building a rocket to escape the planet. I mean, that's something weird here. We need to think about it. I mean, you made us think about it. That's definitely so. But my question for you is it better like a Marzullo style for Italian people listening? Is it better to buy a Tesla now or save money for a trip to Mars
Oof.
tomorrow or whatever?
Oh my God, I hope neither. Like to be, to be very honest, like if our because what I find insane of Elon Musk's point is like, okay, we have never learned how to live on this planet. So let's just take these large amount of idiots and move them to another planet so we can start the
Yeah,
cycle all over again. I'm like, if we never really changed our mind and we just believe we are here to consume and do whatever the hell we want, like it's gonna end
yeah,
the very same way. We can just keep going from planet to planet until the end of
yeah,
time. So we need to find a
basically.
solution.
Yeah,
I mean,
colonization.
yeah, exactly. Same. Like we started colonizing like other environments on this planet.
Yeah.
Now we're like, oh, we ran out of them. We need to go somewhere else, like Moon, Mars, whatever.
Yeah.
But
We should,
I was
yeah.
very divided on the Tesla
Yeah.
I still don't like that car because, to be honest,
Right.
one of my joke in my show is that one of the very first electric car was a Panda, and
Mm.
nobody bought it because nobody wants to give up fucking for saving the planet. So I still believe that Tesla is still very much driven by status, and this is something I'm not very
Yeah.
comfortable with. But again,
Yeah.
I agree, it's much better than buying whatever petrol car is around.
Yeah, it's probably the solution. The real solution would be to make city, like bike friendly, like as much as possible, like pedestrian friendly, and give up cars at all. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
I
it's
agree.
a bit of a utopia, but we should go towards that way, I think.
It's true, but
Anyway,
I mean, I lived in Copenhagen, which is one of
yeah,
the most,
yeah,
let's say, cycle friendly.
yeah,
And what seems an utopia here, it's actually reality somewhere else. I don't like to,
yeah.
I never like to speak greatly of more northern country because I've been there and sometimes I hate myself when I do that. But to be honest, like the fun thing is like if you take Milan, for example,
Yeah.
it's insane just to get to one point of the city to another one. And initially, I couldn't understand because the amount of people in Milan is not that big if you compare it to other countries.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
realized it's because of parking lots. The
Ah, I
city is
see.
packed with freaking parking lots, so that it has to be huge for the cars.
Yeah.
Copenhagen feels like Pavia as a site. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, well, Amsterdam, I guess, is similar, Bike ruled, Bikes.
Yeah.
If you have a bike, you've got the power, there.
Exactly. And in fact, I came back to Italy. I was like, yes, I want to go back to Italy and never own a car again. And I failed in 3 months.
Yeah, it's that's a utopia. That's what you call utopia.
Exactly.
Anyway, speaking of out of this world solutions, I just came across a study suggesting to put data centers, massive data center in space. I mean, which sounds great, except that by the time it actually happens, we'll probably be all dead. What do you think about it?
Exactly. Which will always gonna happen before our retirement happens. So
Yeah.
no, these are like these hopes that we have of kind of finding technology solutions for a problem caused by technology. It
Yeah.
does remind me of the obesity epidemic in the US. Like everybody was overweight, so let's have Diet Coke. It's gonna solve our problem. It didn't solve anything. So the more you invent technology solution, the more people are gonna invent other ways to consume in a more creative way.
Yeah,
Put data centers
because
in space, all of us you will say, "Oh, I'm gonna drive for I don't know, 1,000 miles just because now we have data centers in space and they are just going to consume the same." So we need to change
yeah.
a little bit our mindset, is my opinion.
Yeah, because many times they end up to be an incentive for consuming more or for feeling less guilty about something. So like
Exactly.
plastic recycling, for example, it's been sold as the solution when it's not. Actually, it's just an incentive to produce more plastic. Really, I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you look into it and you figure out that even if you throw it in the right bin, a very little amount of the plastic is recyclable. And you're like, why the fuck am I doing all
That's
of
it.
this?
That's it. When I saw the statistics, like only 9% of the plastic we produce is actually recycled. I say, what the hell are we doing there? I mean, there's something massively wrong about this. Anyway,
No,
yeah.
the
So
I believe that the most environmental balanced person I've ever met in my life was my grandmother because she was reusing everything. Whenever
yeah,
she was buying
yeah,
gelato, she was like, "This is a
yeah.
perfect functioning box, so I'm keeping it. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
throwing it
turn it,
away."
and that's boosting your creativity as well. Like you reinvent when you're a true, when you're a kid, you're doing more, and then you will lose it. I think a little bit. So it's a shame, to be honest.
Yeah, my
But
grandmother was a little bit much into that, especially about
yeah,
food waste, because I do remember like she was cooking steak, and if there was leftover of the steak, she was making meatloaf. If there was leftover of the meatloaf, she was making sugo. And so basically, I remember eating the same meat for like 3 weeks in a row. She was a little bit too
yeah.
much, but that was the right approach.
She was prolonging the life of the product in a way, like many corporates are
Absolutely.
trying to do, but not failing badly. Yeah. Maybe your grandma should be a CEO or so, or a major company.
She She should be definitely heading a major environmental corporation nowadays.
ESG boss, like something like that.
Yeah,
Guru,
I mean,
ESG guru.
I am in my professional life, I work with companies a lot, and many of them are
Okay.
just struggling to find approach to reuse and optimize production cycle. If they would ask my grandmother, she knows it all. She never has thrown away anything.
Please hire her now. Like I got
Exactly,
the person for
exactly.
you. Like all right. So okay. So coming back to technology, solutions, right? Let's question another one. So that's a big one, right? So you might have heard that Google took carbon offsets off the climate solution portfolio. So no more carbon offset. I guess many other big tech will follow, will do the same mostly because they won't be able to find them anymore. Like, what is carbon offset? Google, no, they don't give me the results. Anyway, no, jokes aside, do you think that carbon offset are just climate bullshit or what?
Carbon offset is, in my personal opinion, is definitely bullshit. And
Yeah.
I say that from the perspective of somebody who's working for a company who's doing a lot of carbon offsets. So
Okay,
if I'm
cool, all
gonna be
right.
fired tomorrow, you know why.
Okay, let's not
No,
let's
but
not publicize this podcast with your companies.
no, exactly. No, but in my opinion, like carbon offset, maybe it's worth going into the like. Basically, you are still polluting, but you pay somebody else to do like environmental positive activity to compensate whatever you're doing.
Pretty
Which,
much.
in my opinion, makes the same sense as a serial killer going to a sperm bank and say, "Hey, I am carbon neutral. I'm killing people, but I'm also making babies. So yeah, I'm a good guy." Like, no, you're still a freaking
That's
serial
a
killer.
very good analogy here. You killed it here. That you.
Exactly. Like,
I didn't want to make the pun not intended. But yeah,
no, but it's it's
that
it's 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 ridiculous. Like, I believe at some point we should put a cap on our desire of limitless consumption and not
yeah
always hope for technology to save our ass at some point, which has not came yet because we are still hoping.
no
We don't really have an answer. And I
yeah
believe like all this mm, being bombarded by media to buy stuff, all this desire of going for a different trip next year, buying a different car, having a better notebook or whatever.
yeah.
If we would just enjoy being around people and not hope that our consumption will be saved by technology at some point in time, things would be much different and carbon offset would be not necessary by anyone.
Yeah, let's say that taking responsibility a bit more, which people tend not to like that much. I mean,
No, exactly. Also because I found out that if you exactly like my grandmother, like if you get too much into the idea of being, let's say, a responsible person and not consume too much,
yeah,
you look like you are cheap, and there's still a
yeah,
strong bias. There's still a strong bias on cheap people. Like they look at you like, oh, why are you so cheap? Like, "Nah, I just don't want to waste."
yeah. I got an iPhone. Like, well, I don't want to promote Apple or something. Well, no, it's not my. But I got an iPhone 2, like, which probably is so small that my nephew, when he sees it, oh, you got small phone, like he go crazy. I love it because it's small. But it's the oldest phone. Probably not even Steve Jobs knows what the fuck. If I showed him, like, he said, what the hell is that? He doesn't even remember, if he was still alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, people sometimes say, "Oh, come on, get another phone." I said, "No, it's still working, mate. No, I don't want another phone."
It's unbelievable that you survived planned obsolescence. Like that thing is still working. I have really no idea how.
Yeah,
So
or
at
I don't
some
even
point,
know. I think
so
I'm
yeah, bring
expecting.
it to a university to study.
Yeah, it could be a case study actually. Like I come, and say, like, I'm impersonating Steve Jobs. Like, here you go, the guru. No, because I'm expecting a call from Apple any minute. I mean, it's just saying, okay, well, you just won the prize for most durable phone in the world or something. The vintage cars. When you go to do the parade with the vintage cars. I think my phone is actually just about to qualify for that kind of special award or something.
In the
Anyway,
Apple Museum.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At least
At
give
least.
me a poster or something, a little plaque or something. I'm actually gonna send an email just after this. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so coming back to us. So tell me one tell me one thing about climate change that makes you laugh. I know there are many, but
Oh, I mean, the thing that makes me laugh the most is the idea that basically we're being killed by cows' farts. Because it's the most. I always believe that, again. My point is like we should be dying, but we should be dying in a very laughable way, and I believe that's the most laughable way possible. Like the
yeah,
moment you're like,
and smelly as well.
exactly. But the other thing, I recently found out that a lot of the methane that cows produce, it's not from their ass, it's from their mouth. So I
Yeah.
was thinking that basically they are very, very close to be like a dragon in Game of Thrones. Like if you
Yeah.
just have a lighter in front of a cow, it's just gonna emit fire. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
working on
basically.
this joke yet.
Actually, that could be interesting. Yeah, from cow to dragon. Yeah, wow. Okay, interesting.
Exactly.
I'll watch out for this. Yeah. Okay, what about one fun thing that people can do to fight climate change other than coming to the next show on climate change stand up?
Well, I believe that the most fun thing you can do to fight climate change is to enjoy people. Either than
Mm,
enjoying medias, enjoy goods, or enjoy wealth. To
yeah,
spend more time with people, to just hang out with them, to go have a walk and have a conversation with your parents, with your
yeah,
nephews, with your friends. Also because that gets together with another important topic of modern days, like the loneliness epidemic we are having. A lot of
yeah,
people are lonely, and to fight that loneliness, they consume media, they consume goods. So if you would just be start hanging out and saying stupid shit to each other again, banter, make up
yeah.
stories, that is going to be a very fun
So
way to be more, let's say, more climate positive.
also because it's becoming very interesting to have a conversation about climate change, especially in Italy with all this tornado, mini tornado, and like hail in Sicily or Sardinia, in August. What the fuck is going on? I mean, it's actually funny to talk about the weather. Like English people has
Yeah.
always been taking the piss out of, like they were talking about the weather. It was so boring. And so in Italy, so wow, well, fucking, there was a tornado the other day. Wow, like crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's still a lot of skepticism. Like, despite you talk to people, they're still like, yeah, but come on, that's not good. They don't believe it's completely real. They believe it's somehow made up, which is I don't get why. Yeah.
Yeah, cloud seeding is again technology, like theory, whatever. But anyway, it's crazy. But anyway, okay, so it's time for a quiz. If you're ready, who
Oh,
wants to be
yes.
climate aware?
I was I was
No, no
born
money
ready.
involved. No money involved, unfortunately, just the glory, right? Okay, so you got three questions. For each question,
Mm-hmm.
you got three possible answers, right? So you just one is the correct answer. Okay, first question. What is the annual carbon footprint of Elon Musk equal to? Option A, driving 432 gasoline-powered cars. Option B, driving 432 Tesla. Option C, driving 432 rockets.
May I ask a follow-up question? Like, is consumption as a person or as an organization? Because
No,
as
no,
an
no, no. As a
organization is
person, as a person, as a person.
as a person, I would say 432 gasoline powered cars.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Woo!
Probably Tesla is a bit, low. I
So
didn't calculate it. Yeah.
as
Uh,
an organization is definitely
oh
432.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely more. No, no, no. But it's still quite a lot as a person who claimed to save the planet a few years ago. Anyway, okay. Second questions. Who said that when you see ice melting, of course you worry, but then you study a bit and figure out it's just a cyclic event? Option A, Marco Moretti after going through his stand-up comedy set on a loop. Option B, Marco Moretti after drinking spritz on a loop. Option C, the Italian Minister of Transport, Matteo Salvini.
I mean, I've seen let's say really idiotic things after drinking. that barely got me into jail sometime, but I would never
Ooh.
say anything like that. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I had argument with policemen when I was living abroad that they really didn't like my point of view on that. But still, I was never so drunk to be able to think that, yeah, of course, it's just a cyclic event. I would say, let's say, our pinnacle of light, our inspirer into the modern world, Matteo Salvini, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I wish those policemen would talk to Salvini then, when he he throws this shit around, to be honest. Can you put them into contact somehow?
Oh, yeah, I could give them phone number. They will get along a lot.
Yeah, well, I bet. Okay, so last question, right? That's a tricky one. What is Demitarianism? I can't even pronounce this word, to be honest. What is
Mhm.
Demitarianism? Right? So option A, the practice of halving Trump's head for mental health reasons, the practice of halving meat and dairy consumption for environmental reasons. So halving, cutting 50%, yeah. Option C, the practice of halving your salary for shit reason.
No, that's what they do in Italy.
Yeah, the option
The,
C is
the
very
last,
common in it.
it's it's a hiring practice in this country. That's um, I would say B, but it's a bit weird. Like, how does these people know? Like, do they wait their meat for like a couple of weeks and they wait it after? Like, it's weird.
Oh,
I
no,
don't
no,
get
no,
it
no. It's
completely.
like cutting your consumption, okay, they're reducing by 50%.
Ah,
That's
okay,
what it
no.
means. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just too much an engineer when I think about it. Like,
Yeah,
I need a
yeah, yeah.
KPI to measure myself against.
You were already, figuring out what's the best point to cut the,
Exactly.
the, the cow.
How do I implement this thing? Like, yeah, that's my entire concept. Yeah.
Fair enough. Practical people. I'm an engineer myself, even though I don't look like it, and I've never been actually, technically speaking. From the practical point of view, I've never been an engineer, but I am. I am in theory. Anyway, cool. That's the end of this Climate for Fun episode. Marco, thank you so much for your fun contribution.
Thank you so much for having me, Antonio. It's been super fun. And well, good
That's
luck with everything. I hope I get to see you then.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'll keep you posted, and thanks to you and whoever tuned in today. Next episode will be in a month as usual. In the meantime, remember to fight climate change one laugh at a time. Ciao.